Talk about a familial bond. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 famous siblings. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at various famous siblings throughout history. While we will be including many famous siblings on this list, we won't solely be focusing on acting siblings, as we've already published a list on that subject. Number 10. Chris, Luke, and Liam Hemsworth. Okay, we won't be focusing on acting siblings aside from these three. The Hemsworth brothers hail from Melbourne, Australia, with Luke being the oldest, born in 1980, and Liam being the youngest, born 10 years later. Liam and Chris are notable actors, with the former appearing in the Hunger Games franchise and the latter appearing in numerous movies, including Ghostbusters and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where he portrays Thor. While Luke isn't nearly as famous as his younger brothers, he is quickly rising to prominence portraying head of security Ashley Stubbs on HBO's Westworld. Number 9. Rob, Kim, Khloé, and Kourtney Kardashian. Wow, that's a lot of Ks. The Kardashians were born to Kris and Robert Kardashian, a notable attorney famous for defending O.J. Simpson during his murder trial. Kourtney was born first in 1979, followed by Kim in 1980, Khloé in 1984, and Rob in 1987. While their father gained national attention during the Simpson trial, the family is now known for endorsing products on social media, their contributions to the fashion industry, and of course for keeping up with the Kardashians, with their half-sisters Kendall and Kylie Jenner. Now this is one famous and rich family. Number 8. Joel and Ethan Coen. Not only are the Coen brothers an extremely rare directing duo in Hollywood, they're also two of the greatest directors working today. The brothers were born in Minnesota to an art historian and an economist. They showed an interest in filmmaking at an early age, as they'd film home movies on a Super 8 camera with a childhood friend. Their career in Hollywood began in 1984 with Blood Simple, and they've since gone on to direct movies like Fargo, The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and No Country for Old Men. Some brothers can't stand each other. These two have been working with each other their whole lives. Number 7. Prince William and Prince Harry. These two princes were born 2 years apart and have followed very similar paths in life. William was born in 1982 to Charles and Diana, the Prince and Princess of Wales, and Harry followed in 1984. As an adult, William was in the military as part of the RAF Search and Rescue Force before marrying Catherine Middleton and being granted the title Duke of Cambridge. His brother Harry served in Afghanistan with the Air Corps and founded the Invictus Games, an Olympics-like event composed of injured Army personnel. William is currently second in line to the throne, while Harry is 6th. Number 6. Brian, Dennis, and Carl Wilson. Brian, Dennis, and Carl Wilson were three brothers who, along with their cousin Mike Love and friend Al Jardine, comprised the Beach Boys, a landmark rock band who pioneered the genre of surf rock in the early 1960s. Brian, Dennis, and Carl were respectively born in 1942, 44, and 46 in California to Audrey Neva and Murray Wilson, a factory foreman who later became the band's manager. While the brothers became popular for their California sound, they changed the course of music production with their 1966 album Pet Sounds. Unfortunately, Brian is the only surviving brother, as Dennis drowned in 1983 and Carl died of lung cancer in 1998. Number 5. Don and Phil Everly. Don and Phil Everly are perhaps better known as the Everly Brothers, a country rock group known for influencing a wide variety of future music stars, including the Beatles, Keith Richards, and Paul Simon. Don is the older brother, born in Kentucky in 1937. His younger brother Phil was born 2 years later in Chicago. After their initial single flopped, they released Bye Bye Love, a song that peaked at number 2 behind megastar Elvis Presley. Despite their constant arguments and disagreements, the Everly Brothers became one of music's most influential rock bands. Sadly, Phil Everly died in January 2014 from a lung disease. Number 4. Venus and Serena Williams. It's extremely rare to be the world's best player in a given sport. It's even rarer that two sisters are considered two of the greatest players of all time. Venus and Serena Williams are revolutionary figures in women's tennis and are often considered the sport's greatest female players. Venus was born in Linwood, California in 1980, and her younger sister followed only 15 months later. Their father, Richard Williams, wanted his girls to be tennis players and introduced them to the sport at a very young age. They were raised as tennis machines and are now 14-time Grand Slam doubles winners and 4-time Olympic gold medal winners. Number 3. Barry, Andy, Robin, and Maurice Gibb. You may know Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb better as disco icons the Bee Gees, a band that sold over 200 million albums. Andy was a solo artist who also saw success, with 6 of his singles reaching the top 10. Barry is the oldest member, having been born in 1946, followed by twins Robin and Maurice in 1949. Andy followed in 1958. However, like the Beach Boys, the oldest brother is also the only surviving brother. Andy passed in 1988 from myocarditis, Maurice in 2003 from a twisted intestine, and Robin in 2012 from liver and kidney failure stemming from colorectal cancer. Number 2. The Kennedys. The Kennedys are perhaps one of the most well-known families in history due to their contributions to society and the alleged curse that haunts the family. Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. was killed in World War II. John was famously assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. Rosemary's mental health severely degraded after receiving a lobotomy when she was 23. Kathleen died in a plane crash in 1948. Robert was assassinated in 1968. Only 5 of the 9 siblings, Rosemary, Eunice, Patricia, Jean, and Ted, made it to their 50s, and Jean is the only surviving member as of 2018. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. The Jacksons. The Jackson 5 is perhaps the most famous family band in the history of music. The band was initially started by the 3 eldest brothers, Jackie, Jermaine, and Tito Jackson, all of whom have remained in the music scene. Marlon and Michael joined the band a short time later, and the Jackson 5 became one of the most popular acts of the late 60s and early 70s. There were 2 other Jackson brothers, Randy and Brandon, the latter of whom unfortunately died at birth. The brothers also have 3 sisters, Rebby, LaToya, and Janet, all of whom have also found success and fame. The Jacksons are undoubtedly one of the most famous families in the entertainment industry.